it's like 10 days until the season opens here in Georgia. And we just got back from Nashville and put the buck we call Combs down up there, 184-inch deer, freaking stupid big deer. Looking to keep that rolling here. Drew's got some really big deer on camera. I've got some good deer on camera. I'm hunting a deer that's probably the biggest 8-pointer I've ever hunted. Bigger than Bane, and Bane was like 163 as an 8-pointer. This buck's like, I think he's like 24 inches wide. He's crazy wide. And the biggest thing that you notice about this deer is like his body is giant. Like he looks like he's 300 pounds. And so literally in the last about 30 seconds in my own head, I've been like pondering, what am I gonna name this deer? And I was originally thinking like Fat Albert, but my mind has gone to, he looks like he's a 300-pound buck. The movie 300, great movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. Leonidas is the king. Yeah, the king in that movie. So I have dubbed this buck Leonidas, and he is my sole focus for Georgia so far this season. And I'm still very much in search mode. I'm still looking for another giant, but this buck's got all my attention. I'm in his core area for the summertime, but he's definitely branching out to other fingers. So I'm gonna get more spots, really trying to hone in on what he's doing. I've got history with this deer last year. I had him late in the year, found one of his shed antlers. So I'm starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together on this buck and try and get a full picture of where he's going, what he's doing. And it's putting all those pieces of the puzzle together that really give you the chance to get in front of this deer and kill him. So here's what I'm thinking. That lower tree I was looking at, I'd have to get really high to get kind of above that line where I like to be, where I know my scent's blowing over these deer. Ideally, I would get in one of these trees here because it's up high on a knoll. I wouldn't have to get super high and I'd be way above where these deer are coming from. Problem is, I would have to cut a ton of limbs to get in either one of these trees to be able to shoot this knoll and this creek crossing. I would also be eye level with their living room, which is not that cool as a homeowner. Really, the lower part of the canopy is pretty open. I mean, I could shoot 40 yards across, and I've only killed two deer in my lifetime, out of a ground blind. One of them just happened in Nashville. The other one was lefty. And so I've started to incorporate that a little bit more into certain areas where tree stands aren't ideal. And I think that this probably sets up perfect for doing that. I would just have to change too much getting in a tree. And the season's in 10 days, and I really don't want to push it. So I'm going to do a ground blind. I'll have to cut a little bit of this stuff out, but I think the ground blind's the move. To be honest, I wasn't really sure how that was going to go at first, but after digging it out, I got it pretty level. I got it brushed in really good. I got a shooting lane to this main trail by the creek here, and got this wide open lane going down to where these oaks are going to be dropping. I feel pretty good about it. I feel a lot better about that setup than I do coming in here, climbing up a tree and having to get rid of a bunch of limbs and just changing things up. Let it rest. Hopefully, I think we got rain coming tonight, so hopefully it'll wash our scent out, and then keep watching the camera, see if he shows up. So it is the next day from trying to make a power move on the buck I'm after called Leo. And essentially, in a nutshell, what happened was I got permission to walk an apartment complex. I basically jumped him where he was bedded down, which gave me a huge piece of the puzzle to where this deer was spending his time, because where I put my ground blind in, he's super inconsistent there. He shows up at night, but hardly ever in daytime. And so I'm trying to run the program we do of honing in on these deer's like main area where they're living at. And so I went and knocked on a door. The guy that lives in the house doesn't own it. He was for it. He was fine with it. I went and talked to the owner, and owner was like all about it. And I was like, great, this is perfect. This is like the best lot. Had it locked down. Late last night, I got a call from the guy that lives in the house, not the owner, and for some reason the dude flipped out, and I really don't know why. I'm still in the game on the apartment complex. I spoke to them yesterday and they seemed really open to it. I'm waiting for the property manager to call me today, so we've got some options.
Didn't he show up in daylight this morning on
So
your
yes,
spot?
so and that's, I mean, dude, you were telling me yesterday like it's never easy, and as soon as I thought I'd put the nail in the coffin on this deer, the spot gets pulled out from underneath me, and then he decides to show up like right on the fringes of shooting light last night, and then showed up in perfect shooting light this morning in front of the ground blind, which is a really good sign, but it's like the first time he showed up in daylight in literally like a month, maybe 3 weeks. So it may be one of those things where he gets more consistent. There's a lot of white oaks around me that are dropping acorns.
Already dropping?
Dude, pouring in this place.
Ooh, I need some.
Pouring in this place. So, you know, maybe he'll start to spend some more time there. I'm also going to put some, there's like perfect mock scrape limbs I'm going to put in there. And there's several bucks using it, so hopefully I can get him mad, and maybe he'll start using the ground blind area more. So the ground blind is plan B. At least I'm in the game somewhat there. But a plan A would be to get a spot where I know he's bedding down at, and get a place closer to his bed to where he will definitely, hopefully, spend more time there in daylight. He said they weren't home. So he's cool with it, 100% in. He was like, but what I want to do is like, I want to talk to my neighbors. They're not home. They're going to be a little touchy because they're animal lovers. But he's like, if they're good with it, I'm good with it. And I was like, it's okay if I go ahead and put out a trail cam? He's like, absolutely, go for it. So let's stick the camera out. So I dropped the pin right there yesterday where I saw him. This is the apartments here. Those are the two lots that we just got. So I'm gonna ease up this hillside, and he was bedded right here. There he was again.
Is that him?
Yep, bed in the same spot.
Which way is your other spot?
My other spot is probably a half a mile that direction. Okay, that's twice I've seen him bedded there, so we're honing in on him big time. Get out of here. We didn't get shot. That's always a plus. I have a couple other places marked on my Onyx map. And so I basically got this side of that hilltop covered where they bed down. Now I want to get in between the hilltop and where he's been coming to feed in front of my ground line. I want to get basically a closer spot on the other side of that hilltop in between the blind to where I'm maybe cutting him off and catching him in daylight more often. Scratch that. I'm gonna slip down to this other road where these people own some decent lots. Big old American flag. He wants me to come back by Monday. We'll see. It's another lead. That pretty much concludes most of the houses I wanted to knock on. So I just spent a lot of time at this new place where I jumped Leo bedded down twice, and I've been running a camera there for like a week, and he has yet to show up. But the good news is there's a lot of does there, and they're showing all the time in daylight, so it's a place where I could see him transitioning to as he sheds velvet. But a little story time I got for you is I went back to revisit I got permission from one of the homeowners over there, and he said, if you go to my neighbor and they're cool with it, then you're good to go. So I went back and spoke to both of them, and the wife of the other owner of the other property had a major issue with hunting, and I sat there and talked to them for an hour in their front yard. And dude, when I'm telling you that it got to one point where she, verbatim words came out of her mouth, she said, if I see you on my property, I will pull my gun out and shoot you and kill you right here in our front yard. That's how the conversation was going. And I sat there and I was like, sometimes you gotta call people out. And I was like, look, ma'am, I was like, why don't we calm down for a second? I was like, I'm asking you to do some deer management, to hunt some deer, and you're talking about murdering me, like ending my life. How would that go over with my family, like everything? You just talked about murdering me. All I'm talking about doing is some hunting around your house. Like, why don't we calm down for a second? That's how the conversation started. And I literally spoke to them for an hour, painted the full picture, and they actually got an idea of what I was really doing, and ended the conversation by her being like, you know what, I'm sorry, and I'm totally cool with this. If you want to hunt here, as long as my husband's cool with it, like, we're good to go. And so right here, 2 signed permission slips from both of those homeowners. So I nailed the permission there. The problem is that buck is not showing up there. It's been a week since I've had the camera there. He's not showing up. And the update is at the ground blind spot, he has been showing up multiple times a night, at least twice a night, sometimes 3 times a night, but never in daylight. The last time he showed in daylight was like over a week ago in the morning. And so my plan is to go over there today. I just got pictures of him last night. He's starting to shed his velvet, and I'm gonna put in some mock scrapes to try and agitate him to come and check this area, keep checking this area, and try and push him in the daylight. That was kind of a weird encounter. I don't know, it was weird. Before I even asked, he knew what I didn't even ask him, I don't know, it was weird. It was a no. So, go on to the next one. BRB. So it's a baby to hunting. He said for me to come back. His wife is asleep right now. He wants me to talk to his wife, but I asked for permission to put out a camera and he said yes, so it's at least a small win right there. All right, back to the original plan of scrapes and video mode on the camera. Allow me to introduce you to Leo, aka Leonidas. I think that he is the biggest 8-pointer I've ever hunted. And this is actually the first time I pulled the pictures up on my computer and sat here and turned around and compared him to Bane. So I was actually expecting him to do something kind of like funky, non-typical. Just because it was, I don't know, there's some weirdness going on here. But he actually just slicked out into a straight up 8-pointer and got significantly wider. I think I measured this antler out, and if he would have matched on his other side, he was like a 150-inch deer. And I think that he's gotten taller, I think he's gotten wider, and he's probably put on a little bit of mass. And I think we're dealing with a 60-plus 8-pointer for sure. He's going to give Bane a run for his money, no doubt. All right, well, it's game time. Opening morning in Georgia. All the boys are headed to the stand. Drew's on his freaking giant. Kendall's on like 3 really good deer. And I'm on Leo. He showed up. He's been pretty much totally nocturnal for like 6 days straight. And then yesterday decides to show up perfect daylight 8:30 in the morning and perfect daylight 6:30 in the evening. He was here twice in shooting light yesterday and hadn't been 6 days prior. He was in here blasting these mock scrapes I put in. He literally just shed his velvet and is like, I just have a picture of him looking at the camera and he's got like a bloody rack and velvet hanging off of his rack. So I maybe slept an hour last night. I'm just really, really jittery. I can't believe deer season's here and we got a freaking giant 8-pointer showing up. So I'm very, very confident. I feel like if I sit for 7 days straight, morning and evening, that he will come in one time. I'm gonna say a quick prayer real quick, and then we'll get in the blind, kick off the season. Lord, thank you for another season. Still can't believe that it's here. Still can't believe that this passion you've given us is still burning so bright, and I'm so thankful for that. And the whole group that we've got, how you're front and center. You're on our hearts, you're on our minds, and we want to shine a light for you. And I pray that this season is for you. I know there's successes coming. We've already had that. I know there's failures coming. And I just pray that we honor you. I pray honestly, Lord, that anyone watching this video, no matter what they're going through, 2020 has been a really tough year, and I pray that you're with anyone watching this video, whatever they're going through. I pray that you're in the trenches with them, and that they know that they are loved by you. Love you, Lord. Amen. I'm gonna check real quick and make sure there's nothing in there before we go slipping in. Oh my God, dude. He's in there right now. That time sample. Oh my gosh, man. He's got a whole branch in his face. What time's on there? It was 6:05. It's 6:11 right now. I don't know what to do. I think we have to still sit tight, because if the last thing I want to do is bump this deer opening morning when he's clearly comfortable here, and then booger him up the whole week. I want to play this really safe, and if that means that we don't get in there this morning, then we don't get in there this morning. But if there's a window for us to get in, we're going to try and slip in. First morning set 2020. That was kind of crazy getting in the blind. He was, as soon as we got here, like right when we walked in, he was here. And he hung around for like 10 minutes, headed off. We snuck in the blind and actually pulled it off perfectly. There was no way any deer knew about it. His running buddy actually fed in front of us, or hung around in front of us for like 5-10 minutes while we were in the blind. Had a ton of deer come in. Man, it was a perfect morning. I really thought he was going to come in or stay close and come back in, but plans to get back in here this afternoon, and hopefully it goes down. All right, little change of plans from today. Drew shot the biggest buck of his life, which was pretty sweet. And the story of tracking it is insane. So my mind has just been in a whirlwind. Thomas, our camera guy, is not here to film me. He is working on some episodes. So I'm flying solo tonight. I'm about to walk in, and we have weather rolling in. I think I'm going to get tonight's sit and then another morning sit before just like hardcore rain comes in. So I feel really, really good about these next two sits. Last night we were literally getting out of the blind and he walked in. We did not spook him, which is a testament to our setup. Getting in and out, access is key. And then he fed around for like 10 minutes in the area and then moved on out. So he is coming in the evenings. It's just a matter of time, or it's just a matter of if he comes in daylight. So knowing that I'm flying solo and don't have the help of a camera guy, I'm sure that something ridiculous will happen this go around. But I also am going to do this trick too. Drew's buck, we cleaned it in my garage today, and his bladder was full of urine. So I actually cut the bladder out, emptied it into a bag, and I'm going to go dump it in these scrapes in here. Hopefully, another mature buck in his Leo's area will kind of irritate him enough to come check this place a little more. Dead. Freaking dead. Dead, 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 dead. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Lord. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Guys, got
Find something that makes you do this. Oh my God. What I say in the car, when I self-film, it's when the freaking crap happens. All right. I have to describe what just happened because this was a freaking cool moment for me. I had deer come in earlier. I had 2 does and a fawn that have come in, and they've been here multiple times before. I hadn't been in the blind 20 minutes. They came in really spooky, and blew and darted off. And I was like, if my wind is bad, whatever it is, I thought my wind was good, but apparently it wasn't. Maybe I smell. I literally laid, I have to show you all this. I laid in the bottom of my ground blind on just bare dirt and was digging holes of dirt. Look at my pants. I was literally digging dirt like this and just like rubbing it on my pants, rubbing it on my arms, laying on the ground, literally in the dirt, just like rubbing dirt on myself to try and cover my scent. And I'm sitting there laying in the bottom, and I don't want to make too much noise to get up in the chair. So I'm like checking my app on my phone to see if I get cell cam pictures or whatever. I'm not seeing anything. And I just like pop my head up in the blind, and I just see freaking Rack sitting there. I didn't see him come in, he was just there. And so immediate panic, turned the camera on, got to my seat, grabbed my bow, ranged him. He was like looking dead at me. The coolest part though, I was literally in the bottom of my ground blind while I was just laying there. I was Drew just smoked the biggest deer of his life today. That just happened earlier today. And I'm sitting in the ground blind. I'm like, you know what? I've got a moment to be still. I'm by myself. And I'm just gonna sit here and pray. And I promise you, this is not me making this up. I sat there and just had a moment to be still and pray. And it was as soon as I stopped praying, I kind of just like was sitting there, and that's when I got up and peeked over and saw Rack. Tell me that's not a God moment right there. I don't mean to harp on it too much, but like, it just has to be said. I mean, God is active in our lives right now, and I have to shine the light. It's only right to do so. But yeah, I just freaking smoked Leo. I gotta call Drew and the guys. They're gonna flip out. They are gonna flip out. He's dead, dude.
No. Boy.
I swear, no doubter, double long dead.
Yes. I literally can't be any louder because one of his running buddies is here right now.
All right, well then I'll let you go, but kill him.
It's gonna go down.
I can't believe it, dude. All right, I'm gonna back out and just wait for y'all.
Road on the left.
There he is.
You know why I'm proud of you?
Huh?
You know why I'm most proud of you?
Why?
Because you just told me straight up that you killed a deer.
I know. I just
First time ever.
You can only get away with it so many times.
Yeah! On the board.
I know.
I was just here.
Mr. Sparkles just hit the dirt.
I haven't seen you
Now
guys.
Leo's down.
I know.
You haven't seen what?
I haven't seen you guys in a while.
It seems like a whole different day.
I know.
There's a lot that's happened. I want to show you all the footage. Take a look at it. He's slightly quarter to me. I just don't want the same type scenario. Look at it, just be 100% sure, and then go in. But I'm like 99.99% sure he's just toast. It was like literally full draw on him, but it was like real quick. Here's the thing. My camera is to the left. I'm to the right of my camera. So he's like, my arrow is actually a little more angled than it appears to be, but
Nah, dude.
Right.
he's as toast gets, I believe.
Dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dead. I think he's
You were
dead.
pretty sure when you saw him run off.
So anyways, I don't think he's far, so let's go get him.
Okay.
There you go.
So,
You got blood?
you saw for sure that the arrow is still stuck in him?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Here. So her creek runs to the property, and then across the creek is where the other large tract is that I have permission. So I like that he's running towards the creek, but Just need to make sure we're staying on blood.
See the bubbles?
Yeah. Some sand. Boom, baby.
I was
Two
wondering
in a
when you
day,
see those
baby.
eyes.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, his body's massive. Oh. I think this is the biggest 8-pointer of my life, for sure. I think he's got Bane torched.
Like, what is going on here? He's got a donk.
Shawty thick, I
Straight
told
up
you, boy.
donk.
He's 300 pounds. What's really cool, and this is just kind of testament to like how these deer move. I had the shed antler off of this side of him last year, and it was across a major highway and probably 3 miles away from where this deer spent his January, February, and then like March completely disappeared. It took me all summer to find him, and it's just, I mean, dude, you know how it is. Like sometimes these deer just travel so far, and this was no doubt his summer hideout. He had as many acorns, all the food, all the water, all the cover he needed.
I mean, I'm so blown away by the size of this deer's body.
You keep sneaky shooting your, like, you know, high scoring
I don't even care about his
basket
rack.
rack bucks.
I'm just impressed by this beer gut he's got. I can't wait to watch you guys haul this thing out.
We're running into a problem.
Come on, boys.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Get into a hole for that. You okay?
Can we not kill
Yeah, I
something
just
for a few
inhaled a
days?
mosquito.
Jeez.
Haven't done conditioning in a while, huh?
You
It's literally stuck in my throat.
you're not living up to your, I'm just gonna stand here and watch, drink beer and watch slogan.
All right, there's about a 57% chance this rips the whole ceiling in. Guest room, bedroom, it's gonna come through into the garage.
Oh, what happened?
Simple hook malfunction.
Huh?
Oh.